Thanks everyone for being here tonight. And by everyone, I mean also listeners and us. We are really excited that we wrapped up season 1 and we are looking forward to season 2. But in the meantime, we wanted to answer some general questions that people have had about recording, the process with that, the creative process behind this first season, and just have some good old F.A.M and Dan fun. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off with a question that I really liked, which was, what are you most excited about happening in season 2, or what do you want to have happen? Just going into the beginning of season 2 and feeling the excitement that we are, I think that'd be a great one for us to start with.
More Jake Baum!
I was going to say Dan getting an actual roleplay character so we can abandon Jake Baum. But, all right.
I thought Jake Baum was his role-playing character.
I thought that was Vic.
I was going to save this as a surprise for the listeners, but Van Helsing is going to be going home, and I will start playing Jake Baum.
Oh, no.
Oh, goodness.
I sure hope there are listeners out there that actually like Jake Baum, and we're not just shoving him down everyone's throat all the time.
Okay, seriously, I'm really excited for character development. I want to see sort of where all of our characters go with the new GM, and I think that there's a lot of potential for us to develop them into some real three-dimensional, beings. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I already thought I was three-dimensional, but thanks, Keith.
Well, you are, but it's Sean.
Well, if that hasn't happened in like 24 episodes or whatever, it's probably not going to happen in the next 24.
Oh.
Well, oof. Wow.
What I see usually happens in stories like this, the first season sets things up, and then the second season is you're able to dive deeper into the characters and have them go on their own separate self-journey. So that's one of the things I'm excited for, especially with my new character. I'm excited to see how they are incorporated into the group.
Me too.
I'm just excited to cause my family and friends pain.
Oh, that relates so closely to what I was going to say, which is that I just know that Logan is going to be a total hard ass.
I hope, and I'm excited to see through all of that, who is behind all of this. Because Blythe...
Dan's like, I just set things up. I don't actually know the answer to this.
Wait. Are you J.J. Abrams? You have to tell me if you're J.J. Abrams.
If he was, there'd be the audio version of A Million Lens Flares. We're fine.
So going off of what Logan and Sarah said, I think is a great segue into our next question, which is, will everyone get a chance to GM?
I honestly hope so.
If we're brave enough.
I was going to say if we last enough seasons.
Yeah, that was the plan, was for everyone to be able to GM. We've done, even with the holiday episodes, the only people who haven't GM'd now will be Keith and Sarah DeBono.
Yep.
Yeah, Keith and Sarah. And I honestly enjoy everyone who's GM'd so far. It's been a lot of fun to see each person's style, and I really hope we can keep that up.
Yeah, I really liked Nathan's style of, hey, I'm going to write like 5 things and then I have 2 whole hours, versus my style that's like, wow, I have 20 pages of a Word doc that is supposed to help me.
That also has to do with the game that I was GMing. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true. Monster of the Week is different.
yeah, let's, never expect your plan to survive first contact with the enemy, so why over-prepare?
Oh, I thought...
Amen.
I just always think about the one time... It was the first time that I'd ever DM'd anything, and it was for the Crawford family, sibling Dungeons and Dragons. And in one, like, our first or second session, I had, like, this dungeon that you guys were going through with a bunch of different puzzles. And one of the puzzles was that you just had to, like, walk backwards through a door or something like that. Yep. And I thought that it was really obvious. It was, like, the first thing that you had to do.
It was the first puzzle.
And it took you guys, like, 45 minutes. And I kept trying to be, like, I had this internal debate of, like, should I help them? Should I not? Should I say something? Should I just, like, go on? And I couldn't make up my mind.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of
I'm pretty sure for Sarah's puzzle, I did end up just like start hitting the walls with my sword to try and see if I could find the spot that sounded different, like Zelda.
I think you rammed yourself into the door.
the one
I remember differently.
Okay, speaking of funny moments like this, what are some of the funniest moments that you guys feel like we've had throughout season 1?
See, that's making the assumption that we remember any of season 1.
And that we
Yeah,
were
I
funny.
know.
So I have a moment right here from the GM perspective when you all decided that Vic was the bad guy.
Yes!
And Chaos was all like, what kind of snacks do you think we need for a mutiny?
Yes.
This was something that I had not planned at all. And
Yes.
so it completely derailed my entire planning for Vic's progression with y'all. And I was like, well, I guess let's dive into this rabbit hole and see how far it goes.
Nice. Talk about throwing your plan out at first contact. That was rough. I was happily in a lesbian relationship with a pack of wolves, and suddenly
Yes, that was great.
Effie never thought that Vic was a bad
bad
person.
Which I think is really funny because honestly, most of the time I feel like I try to align Shar and Effie on like the same path. Like they're together. They're doing like the same things. They want the same things. But then that one, Char's on the exact opposite of like, yeah, Vic is a murderer, kidnapper, bad guy, and they're just in a really terrible place.
Yeah. Well, I don't feel like Effie had any strong feelings about it. So it was
Nathan-
fine. We were still right there
I actually
together.
just thought that it would be a fun 5-minute gag. then suddenly it got out of control.
I feel
Oh,
like
it
this
went
is-
out of control so
2/3 of the
fast.
season. Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh.
One of my favorite moments, I don't know if it was like in the season technically or not, but for the Halloween episode, the way that Grandpa Bomb interacted with his
Yes.
grandchildren is just
I had so much fun.
Best
so much
iteration
fun.
of Jake Bob for the whole season.
Yes. Yeah, bring
I
back
will work with
elderly
old
Jake
Jake
Baum.
every time. Yep.
Oh man.
I would have to say that when another Jake Baum moment in the Christmas episode when he goes in and confronts Shrivlock and he's like, Shrivlock, you asshole! We're here to freeze you. I'm the ghost of Hanukkah future, and I'm like, I was absolutely dying. Everything with the ring for Jake in those episodes. And this, I mean, I know that this is catering to me as a Lord of the Rings diehard fan, but every single time he was like, my precious, I was like, this is comedy gold. This is peak comedy right here.
Oh boy. Yeah, I had no idea that the ring was evil when I just shouted it out. So when I learned that, I was like, well, I guess I dug myself a hole.
Look, that is what I feel like makes you such a great role player, is that you're able to just, like, go for it. Like, no matter what gets thrown at you, you're like, well, I have a response to this now, I guess. And I'm like, way to be, Dan.
I really enjoyed Zeus spending like most of the simulation arc just hanging out in the holodeck.
Yes.
It was fun in there, man.
I thought it was going to be, so at the time, I thought that it was going to be a lot more intense for him to try and get away, which is why I proposed to Dan, hey, I'm going to try and like keep Zoo here. And I expected him to try a lot harder to get away. And then suddenly Keith was like, yeah, I guess this is like not ideal, but it's fine.
You were pretty
Yeah, it was
happy
very
on the
persuasive,
side.
I guess.
The I am a god moment for
Yes.
Chaos was very, very hilarious. Ghosts
That
are
was so
real. Yep.
Oh, so real.
That whole arc was so fun.
Yeah.
that was a fun one.
I love the potential of the time that Char and Chaos spent together in France where we don't really know what happened.
Yes.
Like anything could have happened, everything happened, nothing happened, we don't know, but it's the magical potential of hilariousness involved in that.
So
Yeah.
speaking
sequence.
of that is what I want fan art for. And there's a question that is like, what do you want fan art of? And legitimately what I want is to like see Chaos and Shah duking it out with like hundreds of, French soldiers on a battlefield somewhere in full knight's regalia.
Ooh,
That's what I
but
want.
instead of swords, it's baguettes.
Sure.
Ooh,
absolutely.
yes.
Very stale
That'd be
baguettes.
cool.
So like 2 days old baguettes.
And everyone's saying, oui, baguette.
Yeah, I'm behind this. Yes, please make that fan art.
Yeah, 100%.
What other fan art do people want to see? I know I would love to see Knight Tosis on the drawbridge, ready to kick some ass, but then he gets wait, what was it? I can't remember a wombat to the face.
A wombat's butt to the face. Which we got the animation of, and I love that. The animation is
technically
cool.
we already
The animation
have art
is
of that.
amazing.
Yeah.
I just want to see Knight Tosis in all his glory, standing on the drawbridge, egging everyone on.
Yeah.
I think selfishly, I would love to see some Char and Effie fan art.
That's true.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, some really like soft palette stuff with them curled up together.
Yep.
Like, this is the lesbian fan art that I don't think I can stop seeing. Very pastel colors, like randomly leaves,
Yep.
and
Of course.
you know,
And a pile of chords.
That'll be
Effie's
super
charging.
cute. I love it. That's super cute.
I want to
Char's-
see Beth and Effie too. To like, just.
I mean, Beth would probably be the background. It would be like a triple spoon.
Yes.
Spooning Effie, spooning Char. Done.
Is Beth spooning everyone every night?
Yes.
I think
I
so.
guess so.
That's kind of an uncomfortable thought, but
The
sure.
biggest spoon.
We'll keep
The
it-
biggest spoon.
And now the podcast just came to be about polyamory.
Well, if we're going
was
to
it
get
ever
into
not
that,
about polyamory?
we have a question of what are the most ridiculous relationships or ships that you can see in the team? Yeah,
I mean, I could see a doctor ship between Dr.
Zolson.
Van Helsing
Zolsing.
and Dr. Zuman.
I was just gonna
Zolsing. I've
say
already
that.
named it.
I feel like that's fine and all good, because if it's like your two wives that are role playing a lesbian couple,
It just makes sense.
I think it would be funny to see Chaos and Char.
Oh my gosh, no.
Honestly,
That'd be awkward.
chaos in anyone is pretty much equally implausible.
Oh, yeah.
Chaos and Beth all day. The worst one, I have to say, the worst one I could think of would probably be like Van Helsing and Shaw. Like that just doesn't
no.
work.
That
And
I,
it's
Look,
funny because you
guys,
guys are
Married in real life.
Yeah.
But we're married in real
I love my
was it? It was-
husband. We have a very good relationship. Nothing's wrong. Char and Van Helsing would never be together in any universe.
Oh, come on.
What was it? The first or second episode
Yeah.
that Char's on
Where's, like-
Char's on her phone, and then Van Helsing's just creepily looking over her shoulder, being like, "Hey, what's that? Is the internet
Look,
fun? What is it?"
For me, Nathan, it is the age difference. It's not like personality compatibility at all. It is simply the age difference I cannot get on board with.
Right.
Yeah, I know, but I think Van Helsing's young at heart. I don't know.
You are sturdily built.
With sensitive nostrils.
And a thick
The
neck.
sensitive nostril is my favorite ongoing gag, I gotta say.
Thank you, Bram Stoker, for that one.
Oh, I thought that this one was fun since we are about time travel. If you, as a real person, could go anywhere in history, where and when would you go?
Oh, gosh.
So does this include future possibilities or just the past?
It
I
could be
think
the
it should
future.
go. I think it should go future too.
I have an answer for this. This
All right.
is we have this as a practice episode, my only time GMing, and it was the Dancing Plague of 1518. I want to go to that. I want to see that. Random citizens just being struck with a desperate urge to dance. It could totally be a movie. That's where I would go. Strasbourg, 1518.
That was a fun episode too for a practice episode. That was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one
See.
day we'll release it as a bonus episode.
There you go. There you go.
I feel like if I had a time machine, I would go to around the year 21. We'll just go 2093. So that'd be like my 100th
In the
birthday
future.
year.
Yeah.
And I would just see if it's like worth kind of like struggling it out or like just see where things
Yeah,
just
look-
kind of see where things are gonna end in my lifetime, and then that'll help me make a lot of life decisions, I think.
Yeah. So here's the thing, guys. Nathan and I don't like go to couples therapy. Like we're fine, but I have considered so many times when Nathan talks about like well, I don't really want to save for retirement because I'm just going to die young. And I'm like, do I need to
Dang.
report this?
Oh, goodness.
No, I'm
Okay.
with Nathan on this. I want to jump like 50 years in the future, and see
how
if
it all
it's
shakes
better,
out.
and if it's not, that solves a lot of problems.
See,
Like, do
don't
I
know.
need to save for retirement? Are we overrun with barbarian hordes?
Barbarian hordes? Where are they going
Why-
to come from? Barbaria?
Why go into the future to see
Canada.
we're overrun by barbarian hordes when you can go into the past where there are barbarian hordes?
I don't want
Here's-
barbarian hordes.
here's the
John. I
thing.
just want to know.
So mine would be December 17th, 1903, Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. I don't know if it's ringing any bells for Nathan. This is the Wright brothers' first flight. and I
Okay,
would
like
love
Nathan
to be
is
there.
the only one who can have flight knowledge, Dan.
Well, I mean, he's the one that's studying to be a pilot and going through all that is flight hours. So
We
I
know
thought
what
he'd.
Kitty Hawk is. Come on.
We had a
Yeah,
movie.
he's the only one that can have flight knowledge.
We had
That
like
would be
an
pretty cool.
animated movie
That'd be
of
really cool.
the Wright brothers when we were little.
I
I think we watched
Okay.
it like a billion times.
Oh, it was like one of the only things we could watch on Sundays.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. You know it. You know it.
That's weird.
Agreed.
It was that or the Maccabees. So
Right, the Maccabees.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. I'm so glad you remember, and it's not just me.
No, we share this trauma.
We had like, I don't know. It's so funny.
That kind of makes me glad that I'm adopted.
I don't know. I feel like I'm really basic, and I'm like, oh, I would go back to when J.R.R. Tolkien was alive, and I would meet him and talk to him,
That'd be
and
cool.
I would probably cry a little bit, and that's the end of what I would want to do in the past, because I feel like I am trying to really anchor myself in the present.
I feel like the past can be really sketchy. Yeah.
There's only
that's how I
one
feel.
actually like safe period in time in the past.
When
head
Jesus
to?
was alive.
No.
No.
Like
I don't know. How did that work out for Jesus?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the place and time you have to go to avoid like any uncomfortable discussions about whether or not women are allowed to talk to people is like dinosaur past.
Yeah, before
Ooh,
humans
yeah.
evolved.
That is easily, I would go to the Cretaceous era, and if I
Of
got ate
course
by
you
a
would.
T-Rex, I would be so happy.
I am not
Like-
surprised by
ooh.
the answer at all.
See,
I
I
would-
want
I
to like
would
go
die
back
a
and
happy
find out like
man.
what actually happened. Some of like the crazy time
You wanna
periods
be there
that are
for-
so controversial. I like want to go
Oh.
back and find out what actually went down. You know?
Oh no, I do not. The only time that real life Sarah wants to time travel is if I have been kidnapped by Doctor Who.
Yep.
If
Yeah,
I was
I-
kidnapped by Doctor Who, I am down for anything. Otherwise,
talking-
no.
Or how about
excuse
that
me,
time?
I think you'll find that it's just the Doctor. Doctor Who's the name of
Oh.
the show.
Thank you for that.
Or
Yeah,
how
but
about
the
how about
voice
times
change.
to erase our mistakes, like the time I was laughing and some food came out of my mouth. So I was eating and laughing, and love to go back in time and just slap my mouth shut.
Here's the thing. I feel like I definitely have some big moments in the past that haunt me, but I also feel like if I try to go back into the past and change those, then that changes present me because I don't have all of that trauma to deal with anymore.
That's too.
So then we're a
lovely
little bit less
timey-wimey.
sarcastic and a little bit more happy.
I don't want to deal with the repercussions. I don't deal with the lovely timey-wimey stuff. We don't know the rules for a reason. Let's just move
Ooh,
on.
actually,
Just don't look at the back of your head.
one
it's
last thing.
fine.
Serious answer, less depressing than my previous answer. If I could go back and stop the Homo neanderthalis from dying out, I would love to do that.
Nathan, I keep waiting for you to say, I would love to go back and buy a Black Lotus.
Oh yeah, why didn't I say that?
Come on, man. It's the first thing.
You could have just bought, a couple boxes of like Alpha, and
And then I could retire.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It's like the more fun version of going back and buying Apple.
Yeah.
Oof.
But also more susceptible to fire damage.
So kind of going off of all of this, travel into the past, what we would like to do, what inspired the storyline for season 1? I know that a lot of it had to do with our fondness, and by our, I mean Nathan and I haven't watched this, but we're still fond of it. The fondness for Legends of Tomorrow and the history that's brought into that show.
Before we start practicing, the way Fate is set up is that all the players come together and they talk about what story they want to tell. And I can't remember exactly how we fell upon it, but we fell upon the time traveling, and there was a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know if it's all going to get used, but there's a time traveling timeshare company in the future, and that's how time traveling is being used. There are some crazy ideas.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was just a matter of like, I was watching the show, and so like Amara, she's got like the beast sort of magic, and that kind of inspired Zoo, but I wanted to like, go a little bit more literal there. And, I personally, when I play D&D or whatever, or any actual play RPGs, I like usually go with the trickster, the wizard, the rogue, the whatever, right? Magic. And with Zoo, I was like, I just want to hit stuff really hard. And originally, Zoo was like hella dumb. And then I was like, this is going to be not fun to play. So I gave him a doctorate. But other than that, he's very true to the basic hit things hard mentality. It was really fun for me.
I feel like there were a lot of really good ideas that came out of the planning sessions that we had, like fun characters like Zoo and Van Helsing and stuff. And I remember like sitting down, and we kind of had this pitch from Dan and Logan and Keith a little bit about the time traveling superheroes. And it was really fun to come up with like a little bit of an overarching plot. And then throughout season 1, just as a player, you're like, I don't even remember what happened in that planning session, so now everything's a surprise.
It was really nice. I really liked that planning session, and I think one of the things that pushed me towards time traveling, because I thought superheroes would have been fun. I was watching a lot of different superhero shows, but with the time travel, it really opened it up to we could go anywhere, any when, so we weren't just stuck in one place in one world.
I thought that Keith's answer was a great segue into how much collaboration did you do when you chose your characters? I know for me, I actually had a completely different character that I was playing when we were doing practice sessions. And I felt like, while I didn't really ever talk to anyone about my original like character pitch, there was a lot of help for both characters that I got on like creating stunts and thinking about like the different things that my characters could do in the future and stuff like that. So I would say that like I've generally had a decent amount of collaboration.
Yeah, it was interesting, especially because like when we were creating our characters, being a crew on a ship, I mean, and being a team of superheroes, you really have to think about like what abilities and what character archetypes are showing up on the ship, because you don't want, everyone to be a tank or everyone to be a rogue.
Or like, for example,
everyone can be a bard.
Separately, Logan and I both came up with the idea of having kind of plucky cult leaders, and then we both ended up not using those characters.
No plucky cult leaders.
Sorry.
That was
Keep
a
going.
character that I
Cult leader,
loved.
if you wanted to be. No, that's one of the things I love about Fate, is that like it really encourages that collaborative storytelling. And so when we were creating our characters, one of the things I know what we did was looking at what archetypes are there and what ones do we want to see. And that was so helpful in the practice sessions, because we really got to like experiment. Like I ended up staying with my original character. I mean, hit it in one, but I got to see how they would play with others. So that was cool.
Yeah.
We keep referencing practice sessions. For any listeners that don't know, which is probably the majority of you, believe it or not, we actually practiced for like 6 months or more before we ever actually recorded a produced episode.
Yeah, you'd never know.
I mean, we had a lot to learn between like microphones, recording, software, and then Fate.
Yes,
We'd
we
all played D&D, but I don't think all of us had played Fate before, so we had
I don't
to
think
learn
anyone
that
had
whole...
played Fate. right? Dan, you hadn't played Fate, had you?
No, I had played Fate a little bit
Okay,
beforehand.
Okay.
And that was like Keith said, it was really collaborative. And when we were talking about what system we wanted to use, that's why I brought up Fate, is because I really wanted us to be collaborative. I didn't want it to be the GM and being the overlord and having the story for everyone, and then you all coming up with your characters being blind to everyone else. I really wanted us to collaborate as well as best as possible to create a really good story.
Yeah, that works
So that's why I
really well.
brought that up.
And that's why we had the mutiny against Vic.
It was a collaborative effort. No one has to collaborate with the GM.
It was.
I brought Doritos to that meeting.
Cool Ranch Doritos. Which do you like those,
No,
Keith?
I do not. They're really bad. Like, I didn't realize when I said it, when I made the gag, but then I had them at a funeral, which not the best place to try things for the first time. And I hate them. I really don't like them at all.
It wasn't just
So with
because you
that in
had them
mind-
at a funeral.
Zeus
See, I
still loves
think-
them, though.
I think that question really does a good job in leading into another one that I really liked was, what is your number one advice to keep an entertainment group together?
Yes.
'Cause we've been going for about a year and a half.
Yep.
This is, we have the familial bond of obligation that keeps us together.
Yeah, I can't really like yell at Logan a whole bunch because I have to see him for Sunday dinner and stuff. So like,
And I take full advantage of that.
or at least you will in season 2, right? Like, that's,
Yeah, so
I
I
mean,
feel
how
like
many times did you want to ask me for the fake ads that we did?
yeah,
You just had to
didn't.
hold your
All
tongue
those
and
fake
hope.
ads were so awesome. I loved them.
so many times.
yeah. So
Oh,
Dan,
God.
Dan, why do you stick with us? Because as Nathan said, we're all family.
Because it almost rhymes with fam.
Look, that was my original name for the podcast, the
It
Fam and
was.
Dan.
And it's
Yep.
been something that's come up.
Yeah, it's come up. Yeah, so I just it's fun. I think that with us, we make sure to keep it fun, and that's what I think really helps us to keep it together. Because I've seen families that try and do stuff together, and it just becomes all work and no play, and it makes Jack a dull boy. And so
That's why I got rid of Jake. I mean, Jack.
so, but not only that, but I feel like we're all respectful enough to each other, and we understand when it's time to work, we got to get down to it, and we gotta record. We have that times before we record, like 5, 10, 15 minutes before, where we joke around, we come back, we see how everyone's doing, we have a little
I
bit
feel
of fun.
like 5,
And then-
10, 15 minutes is really generous.
Yes, it's
Like,
been
I
half an
really
hour.
appreciate that, Dan.
But not only that, but while we're recording, we still keep it fun.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about with this one because at the very beginning, like editing the podcast, it gets stressful. I get audio fatigue. Like literally sometimes I don't want to hear any of your voices for like a solid week after I'm done. I love all of you, but it's real. But like at the very beginning when we first started this, Sarah May was like, if we're not having fun, it's just not going to be any good and we're going to hate it. And it stuck with me because I was like, well, I'm doing this because I want to have fun and I'm doing it because I want a project. And I'm like, I'm not doing it for any other reason. I want to have fun and I want to have a project. So like, that's a great thing to remember is that if you're not having fun, then all you're doing is working and it's all uphill. But it's not as easy as we make it seem maybe because we have had to be really deliberate. And one of the things I've appreciated is that like when it's time to be deliberate and to have a conversation, even the hard ones about like if we're enjoying the story or if we need to make changes to characters of the season, we've all been really willing to sort of come to the table and meet each other where we're at and have those candid conversations. Because if you can't be honest with family, then who can you be honest with, right? And so, I know we say Dan's adopted, but we're family, and that does help. But it's a deliberate choice to put the family and the connection above, what you might individually want. So,
Yeah.
great question.
Nice.
For me,
Yeah.
it's the song breaks that sometimes make it into our actual recording. Like, I was paying strict attention to what you were saying, Dan, and I appreciate it. But all I could think was, let's get down to business.
Yes.
Fair enough.
So
We did actually
think-
defeat the Huns at least once, so that's fine.
We have a couple of quickfire questions for characters in character that I kind of want to get into, and so I would like to address each character and you answer in character. Okay? This is quickfire. You ready? So we'll start with Chaos. What new Nintendo console or game do you most want to play?
Yeah, so I heard really good things about this, like Nintendo Switch 360X, and the full MMO virtual reality Pokemon game, and that's what I'm looking forward to as soon as I can find a good reason to accidentally travel to the future.
Should be easy now that you're the captain and GM.
I'm telling you, Chaos, all you have to do is spill your coffee on the dashboard. No one's going to question. It'll be fine.
I am God.
Okay, Shar, if you started a new social media platform, what would it be? How would it work?
Ooh, I would definitely want to have a really wonderful, incredible, total virtual reality where you could just start over as someone else. You know, everyone wants a break from reality every once in a while, and it would be amazing to be able to just close your eyes and in your mind, it follows your exact desires and needs, and everyone's just happy and gets along, and there's no need for like bullying or anything. It's just good vibes all over.
Love
Cyber
it.
utopia.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just want to point out that I feel like I'm on the dating game right now. So, Effie, what
Yes.
can't your cyborg arm do?
Well, it can't become squishy and soft, so probably it can't be a banana.
Dr. Zoomin,
Yeah.
what is the most dangerous animal you've ever met or want to meet?
Yeah, the most dangerous animal in existence has got to be man, and then the inland taipan. I mean, I grew up in Australia, so really I've met as many dangerous animals as anyone really needs to in one lifetime. So
Is this
I'm looking
Keith or
forward
is
to
this
transforming
Zoo?
into them. It's both, all right? Sometimes I'm both, damn it, okay?
I thought for sure you were gonna say stingray because I know that one of those things killed your hero.
Oh, too soon. R.I.P. Steve.
no.
Oh God, he was so young.
Stop. I cried when that happened. And I was not even a watcher of TV that Steve Irwin had been on. I was just so sad.
Van Helsing, what is the best thing from the internet Shar has introduced you to?
Oh, there's so much on the internet. But my favorite thing must be the app that is called TikTok.
So what's on TikTok that's so amazing?
Us. Should follow us in fantasy adventure machine.
Yeah. The Fantasy Adventure Machine podcast has a TikTok channel where we do stop motion Lego sometimes.
So, Dan, we have a couple of questions specifically for the GM. First, what NPC was the most fun to play in season 1?
Ooh. So I would say I loved playing Vic and also loved Jake, but the most fun would have been Mike Tosis.
Yes.
It was just so fun bringing out that wrestling persona and yelling at you all and saying I was going to crush you and making little dog Zoo put his tail in between his legs and run away.
So, what
Yeah.
you're saying is that your favorite NPC was the one who got to bully all of us.
Yes. Well, also, thinking about that, my favorite one-off NPC was Veth, who was also another
Yes.
bully of you. The evil virus Beth.
Nice.
She was real fun to prepare for and play and to scare.
Amazing.
It was all spoopy.
That
Cool.
whole
So
arc was
then-
amazing.
Yes. So then, can you tell us anything about your new season 2 character?
Ooh, I don't want to tell you too much about it because you'll find out in season 2. But what I can tell you is that he is a full-blown Templar Knight found in the 1950s of all places.
Cool. Okay. Last question for the day. What Disney/movie character do each of your characters most relate to?
Gaston.
Oh, the Keith!
Okay, obviously for me it's gotta be the Beast, right? Kind of works. He's like big and tough and soft at heart and can't seem to maintain a human shape for very long.
Nice.
Van Helsing most relates to the two people from the Volkswagen commercials. Hans and Franz.
You know, that's a very regional specific reference, right?
Yes.
Is it?
Like,
Yes.
Volkswagen Southtown.
I'm pretty sure that was an SNL skit before it was a Volkswagen commercial.
There you go.
All right, what about you, Logan?
So Chaos definitely thinks he relates best to Basil of Baker Street, but he probably actually relates best to Cusco.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
Effie?
Oh, Effie is easy because Disney owns Marvel, so Nebula.
Oh, yes, totally.
Oh, I should
you
have said
go.
Professor Hulk. Professor Hulk is definitely my actual answer.
You can't change it. You're the Beast now.
Does that make Dan the Watcher?
Yeah.
I had something I was thinking for Vic. It's not Disney. Sorry,
fine.
it's not Disney. Jack
Are you sure they own
Beauregard
everything?
from the spaghetti western My Name is Nobody. And then I was thinking that if we go with Jake Baum, I kind of had the same thought as Logan, that he thinks he's James Bond, but in reality he's more like what was it, Rowan Atkinson's spy character,
Mr.
English,
Bean.
Johnny English.
Oh,
That's so good. Sharp.
So how about Shar?
I would say that Shar is probably most like Giselle, in that she doesn't really know a lot about what's going on, but she's happy to be there.
Nice,
Where's
very
Giselle
nice.
from?
Oh, Enchanted.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Makes sense.
Amy Adams.
Yep.
Same
got it.
hair color as Shar.
Absolutely.
All right, shall we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Good night.
Farewell.
So long.
Yeah, awesome.
Farewell.
Auf Wiedersehen. Good night.
Thanks for joining us for our season 1 Q&A session. If you have any other questions, definitely feel free to ping us and maybe we'll answer them